I do notice that the quality is a little bit worse. And I wouldn't say, and I say worse because I can't think of another word to explain it. It's not as crisp as it would be using your processor, but it's not terrible. It's not gonna make you want to go back to using your processor because it's actually pretty damn good. And with the right settings, you can actually fine tune it to where you don't have to worry about it looking any different than you having it set to your processor as your encoder. Now, once I changed this option here, you notice that the CPU preset option is now gone, right? But we still have the rate control with the CBR. Now, this is something you need to know. This is important. If you are going to be streaming, not recording, but streaming, you set this value to CBR. You keep it just as is, and then change your bit rate to whatever you want it to be or whatever your upload is. If you are going to be recording, and now quality is a huge importance to you, you're going to change this value to CQP. Now, each of these values have different meanings and they're used for different things. CQP, which is basically constant quantization parameter. It's an algorithm, right? And it pretty much is just, it's basically a video is going to be encoded with a constant quality instead of motion. And I'm going to link something down in the description so you guys can read up about it a little bit more. But there is a sweet spot when it comes to setting this value. The sweet spot's anywhere between 20 and 25. I like to use 23. Okay, but you will not use this option for streaming. It does not work that way because as long as you're uploading footage, you have to have an actual bitrate. Okay, so you set this to 23. I don't really change anything else in this actual section. Now, you can change it to high quality, high performance, etc. If you're recording, I obviously want quality. So I don't have to worry about low latency, but then again, I haven't really tested on an actual multiplayer game on the impact of this. But I have really good internet. I have 100 down, 20 up, so this probably would not be a problem for me. But otherwise, I'd set it to high quality. All right. So once you make those changes, you'll hit apply. Now, notice quickly that I'm on my streaming tab. So if I'm streaming, I don't want it to be set to CQP. I want it to be set to CBR. Now, again, you still have the same preset there. So if you have to, test out these presets, see if they have any dramatic impact on you. And if they don't, then fantastic. Apply your settings and bam, you are done. Now, if you're not and you're recording, okay, make sure, because you have multiple tabs, make sure you're changing these values on the correct tab. So recording format, MP4, I just keep it on that. You can obviously change it to whatever you like. Encoder, remember, set it to NVENC, NVIDIA encoder. You can rescale your output to whatever you want. This time, you get off the CBR and you go to CQP. Now, my value changes automatically. 20. A lot of people aren't going to watch your video on YouTube, and they're not going to just stay at 30 FPS, wanting 60 FPS at least. That's kind of like the 1440p. You're going to start asking your processor to work harder than, and you're not going to get what you want out of this set to very fast. But this is just from experimenting and reading some of the guides on OBS. So if you're a PC gamer, now again, I've test and tweak and play. Those of you that stream from a console, like, you have away with that, because at that point you're in head, how do we fix graphics card as the main encoding option? NVIDIA's encoder. And this is where you're using your graphics card as the main encoding option instead of your processor. What does that mean? It's taking the load off your processor and putting it onto your actual graphics card. Now, of course, with these changes for performance, there's always going to be some kind of, well, catch. The only thing I've actually really noticed is very minimal quality differences. Now, I feel like the quality is fantastic when I'm using my processor as the main